So, Marcus, I've never really asked you who, like, of a chef or anybody that's like iconic or a chef, a cook, who do you like?
So, comedic wise, as a cook, I like Gino.
Okay, yes, I do love him too.
Gino is hilarious. I see a lot of his old stuff that, always pops up on Instagram, all this stuff. But as a cook too, he does very well. If I'm looking for more of a serious type of kind of cook, I do like the Hell's Kitchen. So like I look at Gordon,
Ramsay.
yeah, I know he's out there a lot with the Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen and all that stuff. So the thing is, he brings what an actual kitchen, like the pressure. He is
what it really
pressure.
looks like.
Right. But if we were to talk.
But I think those two people that you mentioned, what they have in common is they're both who they are. They're genuine.
Yes.
Right? Like, they are who they are. And this is the dish. And
Right.
this is how it's made. Like, they're not very, like, relaxed about
Exactly.
things.
And honestly, and I have to give kudos to the late Anthony Bourdain.
Yes.
Because he was the one that I watched growing up, No Reservations. And listen, Andrew Zimmer, too. He would go places that you would never eat certain foods.
Oh, he's the one, right? That would eat all those strange, weird things all over the world.
But it would also be really, like, because he articulated well what he was tasting, how he would taste it, like, and close to in your own head at home how it would be. So it was very good, and, like, I would never eat that. It's great that he's eating it. I'm like, I can't see doing that, but Andrew Zimmer, Bourdain.
Those are your people.
Those are my guys, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Me? There's a few also. I really like Stanley Tucci.
Tucci's good.
I love him a lot. Like, not only is he a great actor,
yes,
but, like, he's in the culinary world. Yeah. Like, he really is. I think he lives over there, too, in Italy.
I mean, wouldn't you?
And I know, right? But, like, I could just watch him, and he's so, like, zen.
He is.
Right? He's very, like, not like Ramsay, like, bah, bah, bah.
Right.
They're, like, two different people.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like he brings the simplicity and the true flavors of the dish without all of this. Like, without
the complexity.
Yes,
like
yes.
It's complex dishes are great, but simple dishes made well is a whole different thing.
One dish that he loves, it's spaghetti alla Nerano.
I've heard of it.
Is what it is, and I've made it. I did it because he loves. Like, I was like, oh, it looks so good. I wanna, because I never really had that growing up. It's basic simplicity. That's all it is. It's zucchini, fried zucchini, and then you saute garlic. You bring it back. You add your spaghetti. You add your pasta water, a good amount of cheese.
Yeah.
Out of this world.
Oh yeah, we used to lay that out. Like my father, he used to do the same thing. We would slice it up, fry it up, put it on the side. We would mix like half of it in with the pasta, with the spaghetti.
Yes, yeah.
And then when we have it on the dish, we just throw more on it.
And that's exactly what that is.
And drowned it in cheese.
Well, you need to. Because that also makes it creamy.
Well, so it was more of a dry. Like when we ate it,
I guess if you had the pasta water,
we didn't do that. We never
would make
did the pasta
it creamy.
Water. Well, even then, that's how I'm used to. We never. So this whole pasta water thing, my father never did. It was never something. Even though, like, as now he's been here for however many years, he only started doing this.
Is
like,
it because he dumped it and
he dumped all the water?
He just didn't want it.
That's it. Because he never really saw anything about it that you could use it for. Then he started seeing, like, now he's on Instagram and he's on Facebook and he's seeing all these people who cook. And he said, "Ma che cavolo, they'll keep adding
because of the starchy water. Right. It's like another element that you could use."
But that was years of him not doing that.
Right.
That's what I grew up on. This is it.
It's so funny you say that because I always remember my mom saving a mug.
My mom
full of pasta water, just in case, and it'd be sitting on the side
all the time, untouched. That was my mother too. She always, whenever she decided to cook something, she had it
was like a coffee mug.
No. For my mother, she actually took out the measuring cup.
No.
She filled it up.
Would grab a mug.
And my father would lose his mind every single time. And it's like, you don't use it. You always have it, and you never. Can you stop doing that? You're just
Yeah.
adding one more thing to clean.
To wash.
Right.
Like I think with lentils or whatever she'd be making, I remember she'd add a little bit here and there if she needed it.
Nah,
But it was always on the side, just in case.
Can I tell you something? You know what I found to be a little bit easier instead of ladling in the water itself. So I started doing like recently. I did a dish. It was a Parmesan sauce, and I did crispy prosciutto with linguine. Simple. It was like literally, it's like 5 elements in it. It's like not that big of a deal. And I said, why am I don't see the purpose of me scooping out the water. I would grab my tongs and I would grab the pasta and just immediately throw it in. So it retains the water without me needing a ladle.
No,
or
when
whatever.
you're doing it like that with the tongs, you are bringing some over with it,
Yes.
but it's not a lot.
It's not. You don't need a lot.
No, you don't. But depending on the dish, and if you are adding the cheese, and you do need a little
Well,
more.
no, the cheese is already done. Like that part, it's like it was shallots, garlic, butter.
Oh, when you're a dish, yeah.
Heavy cream.
Yeah.
The sauce was done, and I already crisped up the prosciutto on the
Prosciutto.
side. Cut it up. It was It was like a quick. Like if you want to look at it like that. What's that dish? It's not, because carbonara is with egg. It has nothing to do with it. But they had like this cream version of it. I can't remember what it's called, and it's kind of like that, except I use Parmesan cheese sauce. It's a parm sauce, but
Okay.
that was one thing. I do know one cook that I refuse to watch, and she's on my banned list.
You have a list going?
I got a few lists going. I'll talk about half of them. Rachel Ray. I'm sorry. Yes, I understand you've been in the game long
I
time.
feel like people either love her or they don't.
Right.
I've heard many mixed things about her. Honestly, I grew up
Yes.
with the cooking, the Food Network on all the time.
Yeah.
I used to watch her all the time, her 30-minute meals. Like, I watched her all the time. When she had her own show.
Yes.
She still does now, but like when she
Right.
was on like at 1 or whatever.
I feel like she does unnecessary things. She adds unnecessary things to her dishes where it gets ruined. And I'm just like, why'd you do that? Like, why was that? And they're not, like, if you look at like her spread layout of when she makes stuff, it's like, you don't need half of those.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I understand it's entertainment. It's what, but I also feel like you're not keeping true to whatever the dish is.
I mean, I did notice that she still is on TV now today. And I think with COVID, like it changed her up. And now she cooks from her house.
Okay.
And it's very rustic now.
Is
like
it?
that's her cooking style, like my description of it. I find her to be very rustic. She's in her home, in her kitchen, and everything is there. And I mean, she's still good. I enjoy watching her because I always used to watch her. So I still enjoy her. But like I noticed her style has changed from what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen the new.
Yeah, I don't even know what network it's on. My mom had it. I was like, oh, she's still on? And she's like, yeah. I was like, oh, all right.
Well, she has pans
And
to
then-
sell. So what do you expect?
Hey, do not knock her cookware. Wait, we got a bone to pick, you and me.
Sure.
Now that you reminded me of something. When I was in here, you guys had your own podcast going on, right?
Yes.
And you said, or Frankie said something, a pasta pot. And you're like, there's no pasta pot.
Pasta pot.
Spaghetti pot. Oh, there's
Okay.
no spaghetti pot. A pot the size of spaghetti.
Right. That's wide enough for it.
Yes, I have it. And do you know who makes it?
Don't say her name.
Say her name.
No.
Say her
I
name.
won't say her name.
Well, I'll say it for you. It's Rachel Ray. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good sized pot.
But is
And
it
it's-
tall?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's oval. So when the water's
Oh.
boiling,
Okay. Just on the side.
just drop it
Yeah.
in. Just drop it in. You're not standing, and that's what she said. It's got to stand. You got to stir. You got to wait
Yes.
for it to wilt.
Yes.
There's no need for that. Just
Yeah.
bloop, and you get it going.
I could see that. So I at home I use Emeril Lagasse.
Okay, he's
Cookware.
good. He's another one that I used to watch growing up.
Oh yeah. Come on. He was the BAM guy.
You said it before me.
BAM guy. Who doesn't like the BAM guy? But that was definitely. So I didn't know she had that.
Yes, and she has it like in a pot size.
Yeah.
And she has the same oval size,
Long ways.
but shallow. So it's
Ooh.
shorter.
So you don't need that much.
She uses it for like fish. That's what she says it's for.
Okay.
But honestly, I use them both for whatever the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, of course.
Honestly.
Yeah. Whatever fits.
But I do like.
You're gonna get oval omelets.
When I saw this and that was I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Let me correct him.
All right. Well, listen. I also heard there was somebody that I know that went to one of her shows.
Oh, okay. And what happened? See, I've never done that.
It was an awkward moment. It was said that she wasn't all that nice.
Oh.
Listen,
I think
you hear
get that a lot.
You do.
From, I don't want to just say famous people because it could be anybody in the public eye.
Right.
But I guess it depends on what the moment. And not to say that you have to be mean to anybody. You should, like, they're there for you. You should always be appreciative of that. And I'm not saying you should, like, rub anybody off or whatever. But, you don't know what the situation was.
No, absolutely. But I also know that you're never supposed to be that kind of negative.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you shouldn't.
You're in front of people.
Push people away.
That's
They're there for you. If they weren't there watching your show, well, you wouldn't be on the air.
So the person who went basically turned around and told me, it was like, I saw her one way, saw how she acted when the cameras were off. Now I feel differently. And that's all it takes. It just takes one shot. But listen, everyone is allowed to have a bad day. Everyone's allowed to.
Yeah, that too.
You know, I understand that. But
too.
You're in front of people. You're in front of people. But I do know who has an invention out there that sadly he's gone now.
This is not going to air till like much later.
Right, but we're going to say what it is.
He actually passed away today.
Yes, Mr. George Foreman.
He did, and
we get our grilled chicken, our homemade
burgers.
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 Bring back the bread toaster.
You got the Foreman grill.
Yeah.
Like it's so. See, that's so funny because he's a boxer.
Yes.
And to me, he's in the cooking world. Like, it's so funny. Like, we were having this discussion.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's great when you're known in different areas.
But that's what sponsorships do. That's what people who approach you to say, hey, like Shaquille O'Neal, he's in a million different businesses. He's in Papa John's.
Yeah,
Why?
I know.
It's an opportunity. But for him, I think it made sense because he was promoting lean eating and a good way and a good way to do it.
The fat drips
into
the tray.
And listen, we can't.
He gave you a spatula.
That's right. But that was early in the game. That was early. Now they don't even have
So we need to talk about this bun warmer because I was scarred in my life with this damn bun warmer, and I don't think I will ever be forgiven.
You know what it reminded me of? Remember the school Apple, the Macintosh computers?
Yeah.
They had different color tops, and it reminded me of that. And it was around that era, too.
Can you describe this Foreman grill for anybody that doesn't know?
So anyone who's like under 20... You believe me, you don't know anything. But let me just tell you this: it was a regular grill that you could open and close, and it was electric. You plug it in, you put your chicken, your burger, your fish, your everything. But on top, there was another griddle with a plastic top that you
clear.
And if you no, they had colored ones too.
Mine was you could see through it.
Oh
Mine
you could see through it. And it was a warmer. The heat off the plate from the inside grill would go up, and it would toast your hamburger buns.
The greatest invention ever.
Now I sit in front of the stove like a shim with some butter on top of a thing.
I gotta truly say that was one of the greatest inventions.
Yes.
Anybody that maybe couldn't barbecue outside, or a lot of times we did it at home when my dad was working, so we would just do 4 burgers, quick.
You do it. I threw hot dogs on there.
You could grill anything.
Awesome. It was awesome.
But one day, I guess we had it stored in the closet, and I went to get it, and it fell. This thing could have decapitated my foot. Not that anybody cared. It was important that I freaking broke the George Foreman grill.
The bun warmer!
The bun warmer, and then we couldn't find this ever again.
No, they stopped doing them, and I don't know why. I think in his name and honor, they should bring it back out.
They should.
They really should.
That was like he really hit the nail on the head with that.
I'm telling you. And again, do we even know if he patented? I don't know.
No, it doesn't
I
matter.
don't care.
That's a George Foreman
That's a
grill.
George
He gets
Foreman.
the credit, and it goes down with him.
Like, you're lucky I remember he boxed.
I know, right?
It's like, I want crispy grilled chicken. Take out the George Foreman.
You want your buns toasted.
And my buns toasted. Well, now the George Foreman, they don't have them, and
I know.
I miss that.
But another great person
Sure.
that I loved watching as a child, Dom DeLuise.
Dom DeLuise. Trying to
Don't
remember.
tell me.
If you
I am going to throw
something.
my phone. And I'm
Who
going
is
to get
it?
you right in the head.
So who is this again?
Fatso. You ever watched that movie?
No.
Okay, I'm about to be ashamed
Hold
that
on.
I even know you.
All right, hold on. His
Okay.
name is
While he
Dom?
researches who Dom DeLuise is, he's one of the greatest
Never mind.
comedians.
Never mind.
Okay,
I know who
we'll
he
let
is.
you retract
Now I know who he
those
is.
comments.
I needed that. Okay.
He's one of the greatest,
Yes.
not only comedians,
Yes, he was hilarious.
but he brought his comedy to the
Oh,
kitchen,
yeah.
and he's like us.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching videos, like, he's from Bensonhurst.
Yeah.
And he cooked just the same way we do. You know, like, now they're so old, but he has videos on YouTube where he's cooking his mother's dishes or cutlets, veal cutlets, his mother's cake, meatballs or whatever. And he brought so much comedy to the kitchen that, like, he's really enjoyable.
No, he's something that you could watch like one thing after the next
And his
enjoy
movie,
it.
Fatso.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, what a great movie.
I gotta
When he had to
watch
go
that one.
pick up his nephew's cake at the bakery,
Mhm.
and then he got home and half of it was gone. You don't remember that
I
scene?
don't remember
He had
watching
to
it.
go pick up his nephew's birthday cake. So his
Mm-hmm.
sister goes, go pick up the cake or maybe the bread or whatever. So he goes to get the cake.
Yeah.
And he comes in with the box because this is the type of person he was, right? And then when his sister opens the box, half the cake is missing or a quarter because he ate it.
Oh,
Like
he
he had
ate
an
it.
eating problem. He couldn't
Oh.
stop eating. And then his sister was ready to kill him
I'm gonna
he
watch
just
that.
couldn't. Oh,
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
watch
watch it together.
Oh yeah,
You
we're
ain't
gonna
watching
watch
it alone.
We're gonna watch it.
Oh my God, it's so good. And then he goes like on a diet. And then you see how he struggles with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has a brother and he's like so skinny. So of course
Of
he's eating lasagna and he's here eating a piece of lettuce. Like that. He's like, "You're gonna eat that? Oh, don't forget to put cheese on it." Or he's like telling him how to eat it. Now he's one of the greats.
Now, can you imagine if they had social media like the way we do now? The kind of comments that they would get that, we get. Or, you get a lot, you put out a lot more than I do. So the comments that you get, I sometimes I sit there and I watch and I go, you, sir, need a life. I don't get it.
People
I don't
like
get it.
to get it out.
That's fine.
Whatever-
I understand that.
Whatever comes in their mind,
Yell at
they
your
feel
cat.
they have to say it. Or they need to write it.
Because they won't have the courage to tell you.
Right. Half the time, these people wouldn't say this stuff to your face.
No, they wouldn't. They would never. And the one that I really like, because we cook at home. Where are the gloves? Where are the gloves?
So I got that in one of my videos
I
on
know.
TikTok, like nonstop. Where's the gloves? Where's the gloves? Why don't you have gloves? First of all, I'm not cooking for people in a restaurant like or the public.
Right.
I'm cooking for my own family.
Right.
So the same way I keep my pots clean, my utensils clean, or my dishes, why would I not wash my hands?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need to wear gloves. Like, I think it's funny when, like, other people are in their videos, like, not restaurant for themselves, because you know the difference.
Yes.
And then they have gloves on.
But even at a restaurant, I'm going to just tell you something. I used to work at a bunch of restaurants.
You did.
I did.
You did.
We wore gloves.
But that's
We
different because
Well,
you're in a
hold on.
restaurant.
We doubled up the gloves. Why? Because the first layer was to make sure that we had the protection, right? From the sweat and all that other stuff. Then we had to put on a second layer of gloves. The reason for that was because cross-contamination. Just because you have gloves on doesn't mean that when you touch something else, it's sparkly clean. No, that means that you have to take these gloves off now and put on new ones.
I think it's more of like a false sense of security.
That's exactly what
Because, it's clean. No, it's not. How many things did you touch?
First of all,
going across the kitchen.
Before you cook, the number one thing you got to make sure is, are my hands clean?
And just one more thing. I feel that if you are using your bare hands, before you start, you're going to wash your hands, right? You're going to start. Then you're going to go on to something, and then you start handling something. Then it's going to click in your brain. Right. Oh, wait, I just finished with the cheese. I got to do this next. Let me wash really fast. But if you have gloves on, I don't think you think that. And then you move on to the next thing. So with the gloves, I feel like it's just in your mind, oh, it's clean, so you just keep going. But when you're using your own hands, it's more self-conscious where you're thinking about it.
Anytime I
finished. Next thing. And you go and you wash.
Anytime I touch anything, gloves on, gloves off, I always run and wash my hands.
You don't use gloves.
At home, no.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, if anything, I feel like it's cleaner. Because
without the gloves. Yes,
dry my hands off. You know how many paper towels I go through?
I do. I genuinely do.
It's insane. But they all have comments. These are all comments.
And I said something to somebody. I'm like, did your mother cook with gloves in her kitchen? Like, seriously,
no,
I would love to know.
I guarantee you they didn't. 40
years ago, 30 years ago, I never saw my mother cooking with gloves. I never even heard of anybody cooking with gloves on unless you were in a restaurant. And that was even sometimes because back then things were different.
Hey, if I didn't see a sweaty guy in the back in his tank top, I wasn't eating there. I'm like, that guy knows what flavors are. Just saying. Whether it came from him or not. But all I'm saying is that I've gotten one that was kind of weird. I never thought I would get that one. It was about last year. I was cutting garlic. I was doing something, and it called for like 4 cloves of garlic.
It was seafood.
Yes, it was. It was my fruta de mare.
That's it.
So I cut up my garlic. I have 4 cloves, not 4 heads of garlic, 4 cloves of garlic. And this Italian lady, as lovely as she was, said, I can only imagine what that apartment smells like, filled with garlic. And I said, this is how I know you don't cook.
Right.
So go, I said, go take a walk, but it wasn't walk. Why? Either like it or don't or move on. Like, I never have that need.
Urge.
The need.
I don't either.
And I don't get
Listen
why.
to me. I don't love a lot of people's style of things. I'm very different, and you know me.
Yeah.
I'm very different sometimes. Even what I find funny, I'm like, that's not funny. And you guys are rolling on the floor hysterical.
Right. Well,
but I would never turn around and be, what are you, a freaking moron?
Right.
Oh, what are you thinking?
Well,
that doesn't go. Because that's my opinion.
Correct.
That doesn't mean it's your opinion.
But unfortunately, hate fuels the movement. So we're going to get a lot more of those. Well, you like I said, you cook more than I do, so you're going to get a lot more than I do.
Recently now, somebody goes to me and had the nerve or was doing me the favor, I don't know which way they thought of it, to share a photo because my rice balls are round. I'm sorry. That's how I learned to make rice balls. Mm-hmm. Round. No, they need to be cone-shaped. All right, first of all, my grandmother was not making rice balls for her family, like when they had nothing, right? With freaking molds. Who used molds? Now we have to use molds, maybe in like a restaurant or at a cafe or whatever. They go out of their way and they do, okay, with the different varieties. The cone is this one, the round one is that one, whatever.
When we did ours. No one said anything about that. But when you did yours, they did?
Be.
They were saying something when you did yours?
Yeah, just now recently I got a comment and they had to share a photo of a cone-shaped rice ball. I'm like, listen, I'm sorry. I go, but I cooked the way I was taught traditionally. So my grandmother and my mom, we make them round, and that's what I do.
I would have said, what flavor is the cone one versus the circle? Is it the same stuff inside? What the
I feel like people sometimes they want to see what they see in a restaurant. But you know what? traditional Sicilian cooking is not what you see in a restaurant.
No.
You know, like times were hard back then. You know, they cooked because they had nothing. Like they would make just pasta gulaglia
Un
or
niente.
arancine for everybody with just a little bit of meat, and they'd make them round and fry them up for everybody. What do you think my grandmother was buying molds? Oh, let's make them cone shaped. You know, like it's so funny sometimes that people think.
It's funny, but it's like, I don't know. I guess it just, if you have the urge to say something, don't.
I know.
You know?
You would think that.
It would be nice, like, because it's like, what happened to the rule of if you have nothing nice to say,
that
say
is,
nothing
and I
at all?
say this to myself all the time. I think people forgot that.
No, they didn't forget. They just
they
have coverage because they're saying it
because they're behind their phone,
and that's what it
and
is.
that's their bravery now. Because what do they
Wouldn't you
say?
be brave?
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warrior.
Because they're not face to face,
and everyone feels like they are out there to teach a lesson. They are those who are knowledgeable and want to teach others via comments.
And not even also another thing that goes with that. Okay, and you and I, even though we're good friends, we're very different.
Yeah.
Your cooking style is different from my cooking
Correct.
style. So why would you tell me, Enza, you're wrong for putting sugar in your sauce?
Right.
Or why would I tell you, Marcus, you're wrong because you don't?
We play with each other like that, but
that's
it's
just joking around.
Right. We don't really.
You eat my sauce, and I would eat yours too.
Exactly.
There's no difference.
So there's no difference.
But like that's so funny. Like people have the nerve. You don't put garlic in that dish. Are you eating it? Maybe this is how my family always has done it. And this is how we enjoy it. There's somebody that I enjoy watching, and every video she posts, this is how we make it. This is how we like it. So it's so funny because I'm like, does she always say that? Because she wants to block it from the get-go?
But it doesn't work, though.
It doesn't.
It still doesn't work.
Because
people don't listen. That's the problem. People don't listen.
It's true.
And that's okay.
But let's put this negativity aside. But I want to ask you, we talked about people. What shows or movies? And I know there's one because you're like, Enza, you got to watch it. Enza, you got to watch it. Of related to food in the cooking world. You told me of one maybe about like 6 months ago.
Oh, wait a minute. So, The Bear.
The Bear.
The Bear.
And you love, I mean, it was a good show.
So, I when I was watching it, I was having PTSD. Because in that chaos, those scenes of the chaotic, I was there. I know it. And it's in the moment, you just want to eat a gun. But when it's done, you're like...
You felt like you have that...
I'm the fucking man. I'm the guy.
I did it.
I bring on tomorrow. And then you cry the next day, right? I don't want this to happen. And you're there and you're doing it. It's a calming chaos.
It is very chaotic, and it's on the moment. It's not
and
like...
right there shows you how creative and on the fly can I be.
So you agree of how accurate
disgustingly
that movie is.
I was getting even my heart was pounding every time when those scenes are. I'm like, come on, grab that, just put it out there, get it out. Just and in my head, I'm just sitting there because it brought back the nonsense.
And you also have to have a good relationship with each other. Like, don't you?
Well,
I mean, you've been in the kitchen like that. I haven't, but like you also got to work with each other.
There were people that I used to work with that I did not get along with. The minute that sign goes on and we're going,
you can't.
You are no longer a person.
Right.
You are a machine.
Like your personal feelings, you can't.
Zero.
Right. Like it doesn't matter. Like you really got to work well together.
Like even afterwards, they'll be like, yo, what was your... All right, bro, relax. Like... We needed to get it done. You were dragging ass, and I needed this. I just don't worry about it. There is no hurt feeling in the cooking world. There is no hurt feelings. You're not allowed to. Seriously,
no, it's true.
You're not allowed to have them.
It's true
because you will be criticized. And here's the thing: because what I've always said, at least in the cooking world itself, is that you're always learning, you're always adapting, you're always evolving. So there is no right way.
No, it's true.
There's a way that you know. There's a way that you can change. That's why I'm so, like, I like when we see these recipes that are on Instagram, whatever. First thing I say is, I don't want to copy that. I said, how can I make that different?
Right, with your own twist to it.
What can I take out? What can I put in? What can I do here? What can I do there? And I do dry runs, and some of them come out like trash. But that's okay, because I just learned a new way not to do something.
Yeah, but you're also learning what goes with each other and what does not.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Like rosemary and lamb.
That was on the other one.
Yeah, wrong show, wrong episode. No, I'm joking. But no, it's true on that point. But another show or movie, it's more girly, so I doubt you even watched it.
What?
Julie and Julia.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's about a girl, and she was obsessed with cooking through Julia Child's cookbook. And every day, I think it was for a year, she would cook a dish. One of her, and they were hard because she was very complicated meals she made, Julia Child, because she's this French cooking and all these techniques. And, you know, one day was the lobster and one day was the stew. And I can't even pronounce half of these titles, but, and she was dedicated and she went through every recipe. And I enjoyed it even more because then besides that, right, of seeing the girl go through all the recipes, they showed Julia Child, like, portrayed in her life, going through those moments of the cookbook and writing the recipes and making the book. And it was Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci. I love Stanley Tucci. Like, I watch him anywhere. We could be walking down the block and I'd be like, Stanley! Really. But, yeah, he was her husband and she was going through it. And then you saw, like, how she wanted to learn to be a cook.
Yeah.
And how she went through life. So that was really cool seeing both.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That was definitely something to watch.
Was there any other shows or anything with food?
No, not so much.
I mean, The Bear was your...
The Bear was as
that you
close as I
talked
can get
about.
to it. There wasn't really much cooking shows that were like live action, I would say. Yeah, I don't really...
No.
Nah, I think that's
I
it.
loved From Scratch on Netflix.
Yeah?
That's a little bit more recent, maybe like last year. Oh my God. It pulls at your heart. I was crying like so much when it ended. I don't want to give anything away for anybody that didn't watch it, but the main character, like, he was an amazing cook. He really was. But you see, like, the romance of him, of how he falls in love and then through marriage and then later on in life. But food is what did it for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, opened her eyes to him and they fell in love just through food, you know? And even at the very, very ending, like a simple caponata is what, like, amazing, amazing show.
I haven't
If anybody
watched it
has,
yet.
you're gonna cry. You need like a box of tissues.
Listen, when I sit there, I try to make myself laugh in every way,
All
shape,
right,
or
so
form.
we're gonna go upstairs and we're gonna go watch Fatso so we could laugh and not cry.
Well, we could do that.
Sounds
We could
good.
do that.